Good morning, gladiators. We who are about to play Salutio! Delicious instant coffee. Well, welcome to Oli Plays, episode 34, I believe. We're powering along. And on this frosty Wednesday morning, we're actually taking a deep dive into some of my old games. Games that I made as a teenager. Now, these games are now over 20 years old, and they kind of form the learning experience that I had when I was 17, 18, up to age maybe 21, 22, so teenager and a little bit beyond. Back then, there wasn't that much in the way of game building tools for amateurs. The professionals had all sorts of programming languages and so on available, but if you were just learning out, the internet wasn't, it was around, but there wasn't that much in the way of resources on there for game development. Then a program came along called the Games Factory, and I remember buying it one day, and it was expensive. It was a couple $100, and I was working at a local computer retail shop, and I saw it there, and I thought, wow, this is something. I could use this. And I started building games with it. And over the course of a few years, I probably built maybe 6 or 7 games. And these are the games I'm going to show you today. And most of them were in various forms of completion. Some of them were just demos. Maybe 3 or 4 of them were finished completely. And of course, none of them made any money because I never sold them. The distribution platforms weren't there or anything. But I thought it'd be fun to take a bit of a nostalgic look at the games that I built when I was learning to be a game developer. Let's get stuck in with the first one, and this is a game called Greyhound Kingz, which is a Greyhound racing game. Now I gotta warn you, the music in most of these games is using MIDI files as if on cue, and it's pretty terrible. This is Hound Dog by Elvis, the MIDI version. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into them. We're going to play them quickly, and we'll move from game to game. All right. Greyhound Kingz, alpha version. A dog at the races. Or a day at the races. So this game, of course I did all the art for my games back then, and still do a lot of the art for my games now. I based this Greyhound on the shady-eyed dog from The Simpsons. All right. So we can choose a Greyhound here, and these are a bunch of randomly named dogs, and most of them have sort of names that are built-in in-jokes, really. I did very simple bits of animation. Let's choose Cheers D. Why not? How much would I like to bet? The edge of the screen is cut off, unfortunately. Let's bet $50 that he's going to win and race. And of course, the Super Mario music in the background. So this was just basically a little Greyhound betting game, and you would. And that's Mario Walker commentary from Formula One. So our dog is this one up the top here. Come on, Cheers D, you can do it. Come on. He came third, and that is, of course, music from Ultima Underworld as the fanfare. I just took music from all sorts of different games. I didn't care. He didn't win. So the idea of the game is you go through 8 races, betting on different dogs and trying to make money. This game actually did really well in my school. I took it to school, and we put it on all the different school computers, and everyone loved it. So Milk Crate Baron is this black dog here. This is what we're going for. Oh, he's fading. He's really fading. Oh no. He lost. Alright, let's go with a kind of magic. A kind of magic. Magic. What a game. What a wonderful interactive game where you basically just watch dogs race. There's something kind of hypnotic about it though, you know? It's not terrible. I'd love to have a win. Nah. We'll give it one more race. Oh no, I ran out of money. Oh, who let the dogs out? Ah, terrible MIDI music in the background. Poor but wiser for the experience. So, that's the first game we're going to show you today. Oh dear. Well, that was Greyhound Kingz. The first in my Games Factory collection of games. The second one I'm going to show you today is Kart Kingz, continuing the Kingz tradition. Here we go. So, again, the Murray Walker from Formula One doing the go, go! Of course, used not legitimately. I didn't pay for any license for any of that because this is just amateur hobby games. This is also the first example of me singing in a game with Go Kart Kingz. And in these old games, I used to put myself as me there and my friends as Tim, James, Dutch, someone in the background. Friends of mine in the games, which was at the time a fun, hilarious thing to do and get your friends involved and so on. But I realized later that you basically very much limit your audience when you force them to choose people they don't know as the racers. So these are my various friends. That's music from, I think, Mario Party? Could be. One of the Mario games. Of course, Big Kev wasn't my friend. Rest in peace. He was a flamboyant salesman who would go, "I'm excited!" And we put him in our games. Let's have a race with... Let's have young... Well, that's me. Young me. Many, many years ago. Let's put my friend Jeffro. Let's put... keep going randomly. Let's get that dog involved too. So what tracks have we got? Only the Forest of Misfortune so far. This is a car racing game basically. Whoa, here we go. So you race around a track. Whoa. Oh, got some physics on the tires. Wow, this is hard. And you get power-ups and so on. Not much in the way of collision detection on the races, but you do take damage. Oh no! Race over. Let's have another race. We'll do a Grand Prix, I think. We'll go to the Forest of Misfortune. Ready to race. Oh, for some reason my character doesn't have a head. Oh well. That's no good. So I've been putting bugs in games since day one. So you got turbo ability there, you got pit stops. You know, there's all little bits of flavor text of, you know, quotes my friends would say and so on. What's that power up? Yeah, it's nothing much to it. It's a simple racing game. A little slow down caltrop thingy there. Oh man. This game is actually quite hard. I don't like this slowdown thing. And I'd put, you know, billboards in the game and stuff like that. What I didn't really realize at the time is that in-jokes are funny to you and your friends, but not for everyone else. Let's go to the pit stop. Okay, we've got stuff. I wonder what happened to our head. Whoa, here we go. Powerful head. Whoa, power. Final lap. Can we get beat anyone? Oh. Race winner, Wix. Wix says, as I always say, never estimate the forces of darkness. All right. So, whoa. Car exploded. Very dramatic. So it was a mixture of sort of 3D rendered models that I'd sort of taken from things and bits of 2D art that I created. Yeah. So that one is Kart Kingz. The next game I made in the series was a game called Dungeon Kingz, which was going to be some kind of cross between Ultima and Gauntlet and, you know, classic top-down party-based role-playing games of the time. Try saying that 5 times fast. This game was never completed. I did a couple of levels, actually maybe only one level of forest before it kind of I flamed out on it. And as we can see here, Dungeon Kingz, we have the Diablo font because Diablo was very popular at the time. And once again, I put my friends in the game. So we have, there's me, Duke Oliver the Knight, with some bad photoshopping there. So GB actually became Sir Belgrave. So Belgrave and Wolfgang were Swords and Sandals characters, were very much based on these two. And Sagan Z, who is an evil wizard in Swords and Sandals universe, was based on Jeff Wicks, and here he is there. So let's put Wicks in the party, myself, and okay, so you can only choose one barbarian, one knight, one wizard, and one archer. We'll go with Scotty. These backgrounds as well, I think I kind of took them from fantasy images and so on. These things here, I'm sure that I photoshopped them off stuff. This is the era when everything had, you know, bevels around it and, you know, filters galore. There wasn't so much refining. Let's put Johnny in there. Of course, Ultima fans will recognize the music from this because it's the classic Stones theme. So we've got John, he's got 8 strength, 8 attack, 5 defense, 3 speed, and 1 magic. They've got stats. You move around, they'll follow you, and I think you can choose whoever's going to lead. So Wicks can lead at the moment, or John. I need a little text scroller there, which is cool. We'll walk around the forest now. Your party actually, they work independently, so they'll chase down enemies and fight them. So we're fighting some greyhounds, which actually took me a while. So the treasure chest with some potions there. Let's get Duke Oliver to lead, who is of course a young, fresh-faced version of me. We're fighting some greyhounds, which are the sprites from Greyhound Kingz. You know, looking back at this, I wish I'd done more on it, or I'd love to actually do a proper, not this game, but I would love to use this top-down sort of automated party game. I quite like the independently moving characters and then the main hero leading, very much like Ultima. You know, there's something fun about it and having your party have a bit of independence. Now we're trying to find the entrance to the dungeon. Maybe Scotty, you can go off and investigate. We'll follow you. So he's got a ranged weapon. Oh, what happened there? Oh! Well, Dungeon Kingz crashed. Bam! The game was never finished, of course, but it was a lot of fun to make at the time, and I had high hopes for it. No one even saw that game, actually. Never even got out. And when I say got out, distribution back in the day was putting the file on floppy disks. Each game was, you know, a couple of megs at most, and you could zip it up over a couple of floppy disks and then hand it to your friends and they'd copy it to their computer. There was email and so on, but email attachments, you couldn't have that big. It was a wild, wild west back in the late 90s. It's a long time ago. So the next game in the series was Hour of Power, which was in fact a fighting game. And this was probably my most ambitious project. This one took the longest. I don't remember back then how long these games actually took, but probably 6 months, maybe more. Let's go to a tournament. And again, all my friends. So you can choose any one of these heroes, and they're all fully animated, which is kind of nuts. I did all this pixel art, and of course posted photographs over the top of them. Let's go with Johnny the Boxer. I think he's the toughest one in the game. This guy, Crouch the Pharaoh, looks like he'd be tough. That's me, the Swashbuckler. One of the weakest characters in the game, in fact. But we're going to start with John. Tournament round 1. Alright. If you notice those pillars there, Swords and Sandals 3 used a similar pillar effect like that, which I kind of took the idea from this. So it's a button mashing fighting game. Best of 3, you can run and jump. You can get power-ups. Wix has a lightning bolt attack like the Emperor. He's stunned. You got punches and kicks. You can... Oh, he's stunned as well. You can duck. So I did quite a lot of animation in this game. Whoa, we lost that one. You know, in the background, the owls will sit on the tree and be animated, and of course, MIDI music in the background. Oh! What? We lost. So we've lost 1 life. But we actually won as well, so that's weird. We're going to go to the next round. We'll fight Dutch, who is Batman. Now we've got a weapon here, so that'll make it... Oh no, we had a weapon, but now we've got a sour mask. There's not a lot of strategy to it. You bash buttons until you win. Oh, we lost that fight. So many in-jokes in these games for my friends. You know, no one else will ever get them, but this guy Dutch was a big fan of both Batman and a football team called the North Sydney Bears. So he's in a bat cave. The animations are quite slow, but I don't mind that punch animation I did. Got a little bit of weight to it. And the AI was quite horrible. There we go, big boxing glove. You win! Right, next round. Man, I put a lot of work into this, the Star Wars Cantina theme, so you can climb up that. But they're all formative experiences as far as a game developer. You learn about making, you know, platform games, or, you know, ropes and power-ups and enemy AI and stuff. All using fairly rudimentary scripting tools that pale by the things that you can get in today's software. But I had to do a lot of interesting things myself. What? There was a cat there. Come on down. I'm going to try and push him in the water. In you go. This guy keeps running and jumping. He's very quick. But the AI is pretty dumb, so you can kind of force him into the water. Get in. Get in. Now to the dance club to fight Scotty. You know, I did some animation up there for the girl with the cocktail glass, and I actually don't mind the art in this game. Oh, minigun. In the background, we think we have Rock DJ by Robbie Williams, which was popular at the time. Oh, he got me with an axe. So it's often not that clear what the hell's going on in this game, but, you know, it was quite ambitious. I wish I had the energy I had back then with the tools I have today, because I put so many things into these games. No one ever saw them. Well, maybe today's the first time people have seen them, and it's kind of fun. Let me know in the comments if you like any of these games and if you think there's any potential. Not that I'll ever rebuild them, but... So we lost to Scotty, so we're going to fight him again. We're down to our last life. Got him. Oh, he's got a lightsaber. Copyright Lucasfilm, of course. But what are we going to do? Oh, we lost. This is tougher than I thought. Or maybe I'm just out of practice. Button bash, button bash, button bash. Next round. We're fighting Steve, who is a very good friend of mine, who I still work with to this day. Ah, the sour mask, that makes you weak, and he's got a power mask, which means I'll probably lose this fight. I really like the background I did for this one. It's got some weird textures on there, but the perspective's kind of cool. He's got a gun. I don't know why he's allowed to bring a gun into this. I think you can make the chandelier knock down as well. There's a way to do it, but whoa, whoa! Oh, he's got slammed. Yeah, so that's Hour of Power fighting right there. Next game I'm showing you is Squad Night Soccer, which is quite a topical game today, given the World Cup is currently finishing up. I have no idea who's even playing. We call it soccer in Australia, and you know, it has waves of popularity. Australia got knocked out, so we don't care about it anymore. Squad Night Soccer, woohoo! Once again, using my friends as players. I really wish I'd created some proper characters for this game. So we pick a team of 3. It'll go with me and random. We'll go for a 2-minute long match. Play. So it's a very simple game where you have to kick a ball. It almost behaves like ping pong. You can pass, and there's AI for your team. Little faith. Gotta have faith. Guys, gotta have faith. Bit of George Michael in the background. Ah. Own goal. Not much to this game, really. I wanted to make a soccer game at the time. The ball has some weird sort of behavioral problems, movement problems. Kind of moves again in the air. Ah. Oh, there's a streaker. What? That was weird. Goal! So yeah, you could say time well spent. You could say this was a waste of my late teenage years when I should have been out partying and so on. But I did go out and party as well. And it was a fun hobby. And from these games, I ended up being able to sort of use them on my resume, because I didn't go to university or college. Right out of school, I just worked at a shop selling computer products. You know, I was sort of self-taught and everything, self-taught programming, self-taught art, and for a long time there, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, you know, and these games kind of, hey, goal, own goal, they kind of gave me hope that maybe one day I could do this professionally. And lo and behold, here I am many years later. But I think you have to go through these long periods of time where you're just doing them for a hobby and for fun to get to the point where you actually feel like, yeah, I'm good enough to do this properly. A lot of people go in with ambitions of like, yeah, I'm going to make $1 million. I never thought I was going to do that well at any of these games. And I never made any money out of them, but they were a great learning experience. Match over. Doo-doo. So that's Squad Night Soccer. The next game in this series is one of the more silly ones I've ever made. It's called Shane Warne's Pies and Cricket. And this game was probably the one that my friends loved the most. It was the silliest. It featured a fat Australian cricketer who was, you know, world famous at the time, known as Shane Warne, who was a bit of a larrikin, bit of an idiot. And I thought it'd be fun to make a cricket game with him. God knows why I thought that would be a good idea. Firing it up now. It's time for Shane Warne's Pies and Cricket. Wow. So here we are. You play Warne. The little bit. Oh, get away. So he's trying to go to this TAB building, which is a gambling building, and it forces the camera away from you. There's all these stupid in-jokes in this game, but you have to basically bowl a ball at Don Bradman, who was an Australian cricketer. I don't even know how to explain this monstrosity of a game. I really don't. Don't know why. Alright. So you basically have to bowl him out before he... I did all the voices for this game as well. And you gotta eat food because he's fat and he gets hungry. And he smokes a lot. It's a really interesting game. It's got like a hunger clock. Great voice work from myself. The Ooga Chugga baby. Wow, that tells you that you can kill the Ooga Chugga baby. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain this stupid game. Other than that, at the time, it was fun to make and fun for people to play. Oh dear. It's just... yeah. It's not a very hard game either. Well, having said that. So I did some dodgy 3D work here. And then Photoshop poor Shane Warne in there. Hakuna Matata indeed. Well, there's not much more to say about Shane Warne's Pies in Cricket. My friends still come up to me and say, "Oh, are you ever going to make a sequel to that?" And it's like, nah, it's not going to happen. Now, these games I'm showing you aren't in any particular order of creation. It's just what I have in the folder and what I can be bothered showing you. There's a few other demo projects that never got to see the light of day because they just weren't far enough along. But the next one was quite a polished demo, and I think this might have been one of the very last games I made in the Games Factory. And it was called Shardstrikers, and it was when I was heavily into making 3D models in programs like Bryce 3D, 3ds Max, and of course Poser. So let's get into it. This guy is actually Wolfgang of Shackleford from Swords and Sandals. I used him in many of my games. Pretty terrible model, but you can still see the green jacket and stubble and everything that I use today. There's a lot of filter work going in there. I was really heavily into Photoshop filters, as were many people back in the day. Planet Thalarius, battle your way to the warp gate. For some reason, this main character doesn't look like the hero in the box, but that's so often the case. So you can shoot fireballs. And this is all 3D rendered. I mean, it's sprites, of course, but pre-rendered stuff. There's a big snake there you gotta take down. I was kind of going for the old classic Amiga sort of Shadow of the Beast sort of thing with this game. It's some kind of evil robot. It took me so long to just kind of model all this terrain and stuff and put it together. Oh, dead. Mission failed. I think we can try again. Yeah, why not? See if we can get... It's only one level. We get dropped off out of, I think that's a... is that a Y-Wing from Star Wars? I think it was. Like everything, you know, I took so many things from different intellectual properties. Even the music in this game is The Show Must Go On, I think, and it had from Queen. Cool looking planet up there though. I think you can do flips as well in the air. Yeah, cool, look at that. That guy's tough. There we go. Whoa, ah. One more go. It's funny, back in the day making a game like this, I kind of, looking back at like, why? At the time I thought, what a great idea, and this had, you know, took probably months to build, but it was exhausting to make the first level, and it was never really going to be finished. Energy of youth, huh? There was supposed to be like a way to get up the top for a shortcut, but I don't think you can jump up there high enough. No. So we now know that there's this guy here, we can kill him. And some spikes down there we want to avoid. There we go, through there. And now we unceremoniously, like Princess Leia in The Last Jedi, float back to the ship. See, I predated that Last Jedi from 20 years. Mission achieved. All right. Huzzah. Huzzah! So that one was Shardstrikers. The second last game I'm going to show you today is a game called Lemmings Pub Crawl, which was a very mature, serious game made by me, based on lemmings, with me and my friends going on a crawl to the pub. With the "Don't Worry, Be Happy" music in the background. So, much like Lemmings, you got little characters, you got abilities, and this is basically, it's exactly Lemmings. I just wanted to see if I could make a Lemmings game. There was no real reason for it. You can dig down, so I'm going to try digging with Greg. Theory? Dig? No. Apparently you can dig, you can... There you go, dig sideways. The hit detection was a little shaky. And there's... You got to get all the way over to here, past these characters, to the pub over there. There's King Lionel from Swords and Sandals, and of course the evil He Chaos from Swords and Sandals. And those characters were still in my head, and I'd been mucking around with them for quite some time, even back then. Oh, they're all falling off. Build a bridge. Build a bridge. You can use balloons as well. Don't think we can drill maybe over there. This game only ended up having one level. Like a lot of these games, and a lot of game developers might feel the same. You often build little prototypes like this and you get bored and think it's not going to work. Although I made a mistake back then, and I often still do now, of why is there a shotgun? What's that do? Oh gosh, you can fire a shotgun. Of building these prototypes, but actually putting full art in them, and it's a mistake because you ended up spending way too much time on building the art, and then you get bored of the game and you've sort of lost all that. Whoa, don't go that direction. Big Kev, no. Let's blow him up. Blow him up. Blow up. Yeah. Not much more to say about that. It's Lemmings. Alright, so the very last game I'm going to show you today is in fact Swords and Sandals. But it's not the Swords and Sandals you know and love, or hate, or are indifferent to. It's a platform game from a few years before that, a platform role-playing game set in the world of Brandor. So it is in fact an unofficial Swords and Sandals game, but it's nothing like the Gladiator games that we came to know some years after. I just thought Swords and Sandals was a cool name for a game, and of course the genre was a very was a lost genre that had been popular some years back. Anyway, let's fire it up. Here we are. Swords and Sandals. Wow, look at that art. All done by me in a program called Deluxe Paint back in the day, which was a very popular Amiga paint tool that was ported over to the PC. But you can see there's the evil He Chaos and Bargle, the magician. There's one of the, I think they were the Shadow Guardians or something. Yeah, Bargle and Murphy and Grog, Scummo. There's basically early Swords and Sandals characters here. For some reason, there's George Michael playing again. I was a big fan of George Michael. Rest in peace. Freedom. All right, let's play. So, in this game, you can move with your arrow keys. You can jump. There's a lot of animation. This is probably the first big Games Factory project I ever made. It's a tile-based world with some sprites in the background. It's quite a lot of animation frames. When you duck, you have this sort of up and down. His hair moves. There's 3 or 4 frames. The animation frames are probably too slow for the sword attack. The sword sign there you can read. Welcome to the Kingdom of Phaetor, finest city in all Brandor. So it's an official Sword and Sandals game. Unofficial. Destroy the sign for whatever reason. There's a little squirrel thing, which I think we can kill. It's a bridge. Oh. Ah, fell in the water. So you can talk to the guard. The surly guard grants you entrance to the castle. We can't go any further. So I was trying to build this game as almost a Zelda-like or a Wonder Boy in Monsterland kind of role-playing platformer. Here we are in King Lionel's castle, which we're playing Rule Britannia from Ultima, of course, because why not, right? You can break the windows if you want, but you gotta be careful not to attack the guards, because they will attack you back. There's King Lionel. There's a picture of Sir Wolfgang, the Fatorian crest, King Lionel himself. You can break all the jugs and stuff. I went into a lot of weird details in this game. There's Belgrave and another warrior called Kel Darklight, who I don't think you've ever made into the more recent Sword and Sandals games. The chest is locked, but we can speak to the king. Lionel has agreed to open the portcullis for you. He hands you a key to the chest. Yay, got some coins. So the quest is basically go kill the evil Bargle. You can actually fight Lionel if you want. Oh, but he's much tougher than you. Dead. I even had the little Doom portraits up in the corner where, you know, your players get more and more injured and die. Anyway, we killed Lionel and we shouldn't have done that, but all's forgiven. Start at the beginning of the level again. We should be able to get... Gatehouse is locked, so we've got to talk to the king again. Talk to the guard. Talk to the king. We'll go straight in. I had wild ambitions for this game, as I do for so many of my games. I was planning on the ability to ride horses and dragons and tigers and desert worlds and lots of frames of animation there. There's a monster in the sea as well, I think. Down there you can see lurking in the lock. Sea monster. I think we can kill him. Well, he ate us. Hopefully the gate is still unlocked, because I wouldn't mind getting to the next level before we die. What? Ah, yeah, no, that's okay. Oh no. Get out, get out, get out! The background's, whoop, stuck in there. Stuck. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. Always the way. I know we're out. So in the background I had some 3D rendered landscapes that I built in a program called Bryce 3D, and then I drew those trees by hand and colored them, and I did pixel art for all the tiles and characters. Next level. So this level is really big actually, it's all tile based. And there's an evil goblin there. You can swim, it's got a weird swimming animation. This level has music, but it starts off very slowly. I believe it's Metallica. I can't remember the name of the tune. I'll know it when it comes up. There's an owl in the tree. Woo, woo, woo. It's an instrumental Metallica tune, which I really like. The track from the level before that was in fact an instrumental by The Cause. So we got The Cause and Metallica together at last, huh? Oh, those goblins are tough. These guys throw skulls at you. I think there's some jump boots in this level. It's quite a big level, you can see. That statue just looks ridiculous there because it's 3D rendered. Metallica in MIDI form. How good's that? Oh, dead. Do we have any more lives? What? Well, he's bugged out there. Yeah, so that is that. That's the Games Factory collection. Games that I made between, as I was saying, age probably 17 and 18 and age 22. Each game probably took between 3 to 6 months. Let me just turn off the music of that. One moment. Yeah, Games Factory. There's a little logo there you can see that popped up. Yeah, it was a good time in my life creatively. I was very inspired to make games, and I was always thinking of different things I'd like to build, sketching pictures, writing down ideas, coming up with different prototypes and so on. I had this dream that somehow someone would discover me, and I was working at the local computer shop in Australia. They're called Harvey Norman. They're pretty terrible stores. I'm not a huge fan, but I was a computer software salesman there, and all week I'd spend the days wandering the halls. It would be very quiet, and I'd put my games on the computers there, hoping that people would play them. Some people did. Some people loved them. Some people thought, hey, where can I buy this? Most people were indifferent to them. I somehow hoped that someone from Origin or Electronic Arts or any one of the big games companies would come up and say, hey, we've got a job for you. It never happened. But from these games, I had the experience and courage to continue building them. And one day, the proprietor of the Harvey Norman store came up to me and said, Oli, what are you doing with these games on the computers? And I said, explained to him, what my dream was. And he said, I'll never forget this. He said, what are you doing working for a mug like me? Go out there, go and study, and get yourself a computer job. And that's remarkable because this guy was very successful and is quite a very intelligent businessman. And he was calling himself a mug. And I was just stunned by that. And he believed in me and saw my talent and said, get out of here. So I ended up working part-time there after that. And I went and did a technical college course on multimedia. And from that, I got a job at a company called Creative Engine, building CD-ROM software and in some interactive things. No games, of course. And from that, my journey began. And I never really looked back. And still to this day, I'm making games. So I guess the story I can pass on to you is that keep making as many games as you can. Don't expect them to be commercially viable for many years. Sometimes you get lucky. The people behind there's a famous story. People behind Angry Birds had something like 40 or 50 failures before they finally lucked out on that game. Swords and Sandals hasn't made me fabulously wealthy, but it has given me the freedom to work part-time. And so I'm working on my own stuff 2 days a week already, and that is a wonderful freedom. I'm 40 now. I'm not young, but I still have the creative passion to build games, and I don't think that ever goes away. The time, of course, is less than it used to be, but while you're young, build games. Just live and breathe them, and perhaps you will have your own Swords and Sandals or something bigger. Who knows? Anyway, that's Oli Plays for today. I hope you enjoyed that little nostalgic look into my past. And let me know in the comments if there's any games there that you enjoyed. Next time, I'm probably going to play a game from maybe a decade ago called Titan Quest, which is a wonderful Diablo-style game. All right. Enjoy your week. Bye for now. Oh, stop. Stop!